Hello everyone and welcome to a new sneak peek video. Woohoo! In this video I'll be talking to you more about the Reforged update, or to be more specific, pretty much everything and my take on it. Now again, I want to start with two disclaimers that I will include in every video regarding the ultratest. One, the product that we're seeing is far from finished. This is ultratest, so basically everything can still change, the numbers can still change, the value can change, the whole of it is subject to change. And two, my explaining and understanding why wargaming does something does not automatically mean that I agree with it. So alongside this video I will be releasing a video about sets, about the vintage tier, and about basic tank loadout. Now the reason that I'm not covering everything is because there's just so much changing. It is too much for any one person to cover. So these were the subjects I went for along with commanders, but that video has been live for some time now. And for me, I will just be talking about the Reforged update as a whole, just like some general stuff, not go into too much detail for most things, and just give my honest opinion on things. And yes, there are many things changing. We're going from crew skills to commanders to close the gap between veteran players and newbie players. We're going from tech tree to sets to make things more understandable and logical. And we get new currencies, we need keys now, and we have steel, and we go from credits to silver, and everything is changing. So I get that that is very daunting to a lot of people, honestly, and logically so, because it looks, especially with the trailer as it was released, it looks like it's almost a new game. The thing is, while things might work differently and maybe researched differently, the core of the game, namely the gameplay itself, is very similar to how it was. And that's something that the trailer portrayed very wrong. And I think we can all agree that the trailer being released as it was without any additional information was a huge disservice to both the community and wargaming itself as well, because it gave such a wrong image of what the game would be like. Yes, it was a teaser trailer, yes, it was meant to create hype, but the way that it portrayed the game, it showed that the game itself was like fundamentally changing and wouldn't play the same. But no, we do not have people sitting on our tanks as we drive into battle. And honestly, as much as I understand people not liking the looks, they don't really bother me. And it's not because I like the looks, it's because of the fact I don't really see them much. Like the commanders, they will be in the garage and they will be in some parts of the game, but when I actually play, which is what I will be mainly doing in the game, they don't show up at all. For me, it's more the voices, and you can mute those. So that's, for me, it's not really a bother. But I understand that when you see the trailer, that does not give them the impression. And you also understand, like, people don't like the whole idea of the cartoonish ways things have been portrayed. So yes, wargaming definitely heard that, and we will see what they will do with that. I think that, like, someone suggested at some point a button that would make them switch off in the garage so that you just have the functional commander without having to see them. And I think that that would be a nice solution, but it will be up to wargaming to decide whether or not they want to do it that way or something else. And yes, of course I will miss my crew skills. I love something that makes me fundamentally better than anyone I meet that is a newer player than I, because my tanks are fundamentally better. But that's also exactly why I understand that wargaming does need to change this. And some of the changes that we're going to see are not there for us or to change things for us veterans. They're there to change things for the newbie players, to make it easier to understand. Because one of the fundamental problems that Blitz is facing is the fact that new players generally don't stick around for all that long. So wargaming wants to change that. Also, I sped this up ×4 because it took me way too long to take out 2 bots, because they're actually better than you'd think. But yeah. But the reason I wanted to include, like, the whole battle is also to show that, yes, the graphics are different and you have to get used to a little bit of the icons and the controls and stuff like that. But it is still very much the game that we all know and love. And I say that while knowing that there's still so many bugs to work out. Basically, this is still the ultra test. There are so many things that are still subject to change, so many things that need fixing. Like, my game crashed multiple times last night just trying to get footage, so having a completely finished game was actually something I was really happy about. Especially one that I actually won, which helped as well. Because yes, I have gotten killed by bots as well. But yeah, people have to keep in mind, this is an ultra test. There are still many things that wargaming needs to change and fix and everything. And we just need to give them data. So that's what these tests are for. We're very far away from the finished product. We might not get this in the game in this way, shape, or form. Everything is still subject to change. But with all things changing, I do want to give a quick thing here, because if you have your armor highlight set to default, it means it is flipped. It means that what you can shoot is red, because apparently that's a lot easier to understand for the general player. We're used to a very different setting. We're used to red meaning that we cannot pen it. So if you want to have that, you need to switch the armor highlight to classic. That's the one that we know and love. So yeah, just keep that in mind and change it if you are testing. Now, other things that are changing, of course, are our stats. This is obviously not complete, because there are many things still missing. But basically, Wargaming wants to get away from the win rate stuff, because a lot of people are using it to stat shame others. The only thing is that when they want to make the main game mode ranked, that basically means that they're going to just have something else to trash talk, namely the ranking of someone. So I understand it. At the same time, I'm like, give people their own win rate, even if other people cannot see it. In this case, you can still grind for your own win rate. You can still grind for win rates on specific tanks. The same with average damage and all of that, without it being like super visible to other players. And to me, I think life would be more peaceful without win rate, because even though I only worry about my own win rate, I still worry about my own win rate. And that makes me care a lot about whether I win or lose a game. At the same time, caring about winning or losing a game is not necessarily a bad thing, because it means you try your hardest to actually win. And removing the win rate might have the opposite effect of people just going, doesn't matter, I'll just YOLO. And then you have ranking, and ranking is a whole different thing that I'm worried about, because of the fact that we had skill-based matchmaking last February and March, somewhere there, and it was an absolute disaster. Made the game very much not fun for anyone that was a half-decent player and above. Now, Wargaming has assured us that basically ranked is not like skill-based matchmaking at all. It's not even like ratings. It will be more relaxed. And I'm not too sure. I want to believe them there. And I'm very happy that random modes will still be a thing, even if it's not like the main mode automatically selected. So I will probably still be spending most of my days in randoms. But we'll play ranked for basically the same thing I do now, which is the season rewards and stuff like that. So yeah, it will be up to Wargaming to decide whether or not people get their win rate, but I don't see the harm in people having their own win rate to work on. Even if you may not be able to see it with others, it allows you to work on your own personal stats. But that being said, there are many fun things as well. Like, you can have moments like this, where you just flip off bridges and still land on your feet. And it's just so much fun with the new mechanics, even though I have no idea how it will work in Gravity Force. Then you have things like this. You have Alperstadt, which just looks phenomenal, and it's just the sheer attention to detail in place. And I've got like drive-thrus as well, but everything was already taking too long, so I didn't want to include everything. I did include some footage to talk over, but just attention to detail, the shadow of the train tracks going on above you, stuff like that, or the trains going all the way in the distance. I absolutely love it. We also have like a reworked dead rail, which is what I'm going to show you a bit more drive-through footage of. And I think that we can all agree that regardless of the things that we may not like of what is currently in the ultra test, we can all agree that everything just looks absolutely fantastic. Like, the map people are just mwah, chef's kiss. Honestly, the attention to detail, like I said, the shadow on Alperstadt with the reel and everything, just like all the trees and all the bushes and just the whole, let's say, ambience of the place. The fact that basically the map goes far beyond the actual playable map itself. Like in this case, everything around the red line, beyond the red line, was technically not needed, and for many years we didn't have it, but it just looks so good. It makes like the whole atmosphere just different, and it allows you to really be like immersed in the game. At least that's how it works for me. So yeah, I'm a very, very big fan of our graphics team and our map people for doing an absolutely phenomenal job on the maps. And yes, I've just been looking like outside mostly. I will show more of the map as I drive through it, but this map is kind of tailored like Scandinavia, or in my opinion Sweden, because I have two sisters in Sweden, so it basically rings home. But it just, like, all the little details, all the gusts of snow and everything, it just looks so lovely, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, going back to the update in general, there are many things that are changing, like the engine, and with that the game, some of the game mechanics and the physics of the game, and the visual quality is very different, as you can see. And new currencies and new economy as a whole, and the way that everything works, and sets versus tech trees and commanders versus crew skills, and a lot of things are changing. And I think that a lot of things are just things that we can definitely get used to. So some of the things that people are very upset about, like the looks of the commanders, don't bother me that much. As said, I just ignore them in my garage. I don't really see them. For me, it's the voices more, because that's what you actually carry with you in battle. But it's also not the big things, it's also like the little things, like right now it is turquoise versus brighter red rather than greens versus reds, and little things like that. But yes, things still need very much work, and when you're looking at the things that are improved, like one of the things that I really love is this. You bump into a building and snow falls off the roofs. It's the attention to detail that makes this for me and just makes it lovely. Like again, you can say all you want about things in the test, you cannot diss the graphics. Like maps and graphics teams just did phenomenal work. And yes, I fully realize that I've always been one for the visuals of things. I like pimping my rides with pretty camos. It doesn't have to be realistic for me at all. But when I see the amount of attention to detail that went into creating maps like this, that went into creating the game that we see right now, not just like New Blitz, but also Old Blitz to be fair, but especially with New Blitz, like all the little attentions to details, like the snow falling off the pillar as things cross there, and just the way that the container goes all the way into the hangar, all the way at the end, and it just doesn't just disappear, it just goes out of sight. I love little things like that, and I like knowing that whoever is working on the game that I love is paying so much attention to so many details that way. But there's more things like that. I love seeing the overview of the map before you go into it, and you see like it's sort of 3D print of what you will be entering into and what it looks like a bit graphically. I love the fact that when you go up a ramp like this sideways, your camera will tilt a little bit and give you more of an immersion into your tank. I love little things like that. I love all the outer looks of the map, the way that it's such a wide view now, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. And I'm skipping little bits here and there because honestly this video is long enough as it is. But also this, I remember when this was shared that they kind of said that they hoped that they could maybe let the giant mining thing turn. So that might be somewhere in the future, and that would be absolutely epic if it did, to be honest. It would be massive animation thing, so I'm not sure my device would handle it. But the idea of it just looks so cool. And there's just so many little details in there. So yeah, like, I will keep saying it. Do not diss the graphics and the map team. They did a phenomenal job. But yes, I do understand that a lot of this will take getting used to and just take time to explore and find what works or what doesn't work for you. And because I've been immersed in it a little bit longer, I've had more time to get used to it as well. So I think that makes it easier for me as well. So all I can really say is that give it a try, give it a drive, have a look, and yes, things need changing. There will, aside from the bugs and everything, not everything is as we would like it, and things will definitely need changing. And so definitely give warming feedback, give them the game data that they will need in order to know what more bugs to fix, but also just your honest opinion on what you think of things, what you feel should change, what you feel should not change, and the things that you like, the things that you hate. All of it basically is valuable to wargaming. My only request, and I say this again and again, is to voice your opinion civilly. Like, if you start cussing or insulting, there's just a good chance that they will not hear it. Because, like, for instance, if you were working for customer service and someone started shouting at you, you would not really be inclined to actually listen to them either. Regardless of how valid their feelings might be, at that point, you basically just log off in your head. So that's something to just keep in mind when you work on your feedback. Voice it how you would want someone to voice their feedback to you. And maybe, just maybe, wargaming will change whatever we don't like. And we have to give it time because, as said, this is ultratest. So we are still very far from basically a finished product. Everything still needs work. Everything still needs time. Us testing this week does not mean it will get released next week. It just doesn't work like that. But yeah, climbing is easy now as well, by the way, and invisible walls are gone, so it's a lot easier to get every places. And there are very many bugs related to that as well. But just to give you a little overview of what Canal looks like now, I think it looks fabulous. And like most of the maps deserve basically a view like this. And I can't really show you everything because then the video will be many, many hours long. So we will just stick to Canal and the little pictures of Elpenstad that I showed and basically that world that I showed you. And this is another thing, the bug that basically if you turn your tank it suddenly slows down so much. And I'm not really a fan of that. But see, again, climbing, no invisible walls anywhere. And I think some stuff is not really meant to be climbed on, as in, for my personal opinion, because speed should not really allow you to do that. But like I said, there are many bugs, and some of the bugs really made me laugh as well. Like, there's another one coming up that was like, what just happened? So yeah, just when you're testing, keep an open mind. Try the game. Try how it looks, how it works. Try driving up places and then suddenly sliding sideways because this is not really how it's meant to work. But there are many places like that where it kind of goes like that. And yes, just try it out. Give your feedback. Give your feedback civilly, hopefully. And just have a look-see, because like I said, we are far from the finished product. We are months away from a finished product, so there will be multiple tests where people can try things and see if the changes made are acceptable or not, etc. So yeah, that's basically everything I can think of to say right now regarding the whole ultra test. If there's any subject that you would like me to cover, please contact me on Discord and talk to me about it, and I will see what I can do. But for now, I will leave you with the preview of Canal, and I wish you all a very lovely evening. Bye bye!